So Wuthering Waves version 2.2 has had a little bit of time to cook among a lot of the players and also other people in the gacha community altogether. Because one thing that a lot of new versions do actually attract is new players and also just eyes from outside of the community looking into seeing what they do good and also, how Wuthering Waves is actually making waves in the gacha community in general. But obviously with this comes a lot of people who want to argue and fight against, some of the great things that Wuthering Waves is actually doing. And well, it seems like there's been a whole situation with something to do with Zealous Zone Zero players actually coming after some of the stuff going on in Wuthering Waves 2.2, and it's actually managed to blow up quite heavily over on Twitter. So I wanted to go take a look at it and kind of explain to you guys what exactly is going on. But before I get into this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and also go to GameStop, use my code KAZA, get 10% off. Again, they've got a ton of really cool stuff over there, so I definitely recommend checking it out. And yeah, let's get back into the video. So this was the actual tweet that I came across. It's from Gladius over on Gacha Police, which I thought was very, very interesting. Now, whenever I first saw this tweet, it saw like 30 likes, and this is whenever I saved it. I usually save a lot of tweets, to kind of cover in a video or whatever. Whenever I saved it, it's on 34 likes, and now it's up to 1.9 thousand, which is absolutely insane. Now, obviously, this person says, okay, let's have an actual discussion. Anyone who genuinely thinks this is better animated than ZZZ fights, explain your thought process to me below. So again, I don't know if this is supposed to be some kind of rage bait or whatever for people to just like kind of get angry in the replies, but they showed this fight scene of the Fleur de Lis fight. Now, if you guys don't know, at the end of the 2.2 quest, it is kind of spoilers here, you do fight Fleur de Lis, and it was a very, very well crafted fight scene, I'd say. The actual fighting was great, and then also you had the cutscenes, which were very, very well animated and very, very well shaded, which honestly I really enjoyed, and I thought, it was one of the best fight scenes that we've seen, maybe in Wuthering Waves and maybe in Gacha itself. It's definitely better than a lot of the kind of stuff that I've seen in, Genshin Impact and other games that I've played in the past, which honestly I thought was great. Now, obviously, there are some fight scenes that are better, I guess, or, on the same level. I think it's a really dumb point coming from a lot of people just arguing over which fight scene is better. Now, obviously, a lot of people were very angry over in the comments because, why wouldn't they be? It seems to be a pretty inflammatory comment here to try and get people riled up. And obviously, this one person says ZZ's way more fluid and smooth, that's for sure. And they say that's what I think too. And to be fair to ZZZ and stuff like that, they do have some very, very nice fight scenes. Obviously, there was some stuff with Miyabi and everything like that, which I thought looked really, really cool. And they do have some top tier, fight scenes that definitely do, compete against a lot of other gacha games and even compete against, a lot of Wuthering Waves scenes, which I think, are great. Now, comparing every single ZZZ fight scene to this one fight scene, I don't think that's the case. I don't think all of them are better, but there definitely are some that are better or on the same level as this Fleur de Lis fight scene. And I think it's kind of dumb to just be arguing this point overall, because again, their fight scenes, they're different styles of games. Obviously ZZZ has a much different style to Wuthering Waves. Wuthering Waves is much more, I'd say, detailed in an aspect, because in the facts of, the character models themselves and the actual surroundings are much more detailed, compared to Zealous Zone Zero has a little bit more of a cartoony style. It's not completely cartoony, obviously, but it does have that kind of element to it, which makes it a little bit easier to animate just because of the simplistic nature. And they say actual good choreography instead of relying on a ton of special effects per frame to wow zoomers. So obviously this was the kind of fight scene that they were including for the Wuthering Waves one, which looks absolutely amazing. I feel like the effects look great, the choreography looks great, and that scene in particular looks absolutely amazing. Honestly, it was a really good fight scene. Now, obviously, if you go down to one of the examples they give for a good Zealous Zone's fight scene, is this one for Miyabi, and obviously this one looks absolutely great too. I honestly really like the overall style of it. So I'm sorry about the quality, by the way, it's Twitter quality, but again, it looks like a pretty good, fight scene. And you got the R&B one from the new R&B that came out, which looks absolutely amazing as well. And I do think, they both do have their merits, but I don't think, there is one that is absolutely outweighing one over the other. Now, obviously, yes, I think ZZZ has a tendency to add a lot more cool fight scenes in between stuff, and obviously this is like a big climax to an entire story, which honestly I think is like kind of different, because you have all of the story and plot weighed up against this fight. So a lot of people do think, okay, this has a lot more story behind it and a lot more like emotions behind it compared to just like fighting. Now, I don't know if some of these fights in ZZZ also have that kind of emotional weight to them, but again, tons of people in the comments are not happy about this. Obviously, you know, ZZZ animation looks like it was sped up by 2%. It looks off, and they say fast and snappy is the game's animation style. That's more so a personal preference, which is 100% valid. So this person doesn't seem to be too defensive for Xenosaga Zero. They can definitely see some people's points in terms of, you know, the kind of choppy and snappy style of the Xenosaga Zero fights, because they do look kind of, you know, snappy, which again can just be their style, and it does mainly come down to the style and what people prefer in terms of the style, which honestly I think is one of the main kind of arguments that is going on here. And obviously someone says here, give me your best ZZZ fight and I'll have a discussion with you, and then this person says this isn't even a fight between two individuals. You can't show stuff with two robots grinding each other with their gigantic hands. I'll let you choose a different one. And obviously they respond by saying that it's quite literally a fight between two individuals. I'm not sure what you want me to say. And obviously it's Kaleda's thingy. Obviously Amethyst there saying, I'm sorry, what? 13 likes, which again, crazy. Obviously this person says, I mean, if one would say ZZZ, one would show a clip, no? And then obviously they show the clip that they just shared with the other person as well, the ambi fights. And then, you know, some people saying, yeah, we need an actual full fight clip too compared to the other ones, which I do think is kind of true. These clips here are only little 10-second kind of segments that are like kind of like spliced together. Obviously, you know, we've got the Miyabi one, then the Ambi one, then the Caesar one. I think there's Sokaku back there. There's some other ones as well. Another Ambi one, which again feels like kind of weird, because obviously this fight scene here, I don't know how cut together it is, but again, you can see it's an entire fight scene. It's not just one 10-second clip from a completely different part of the game cut together to kind of make a point. This is a full entire fight scene that is like almost 2 minutes long, you know, and even if it is a little bit of fighting, I still think that is great, and it definitely proves, you know, that it is a very good fight scene in general. Now obviously some people are saying getting tired of this because ZZZ feels like 200 FPS. This person says it's mid and is okay tier, that's all. They say it's excellent on many different levels: cinematography, choreography, VFX, sound design, blood to emotion, etc. And then example of which ZZZ fight looks better than this, any of them, to be honest. So I think, you know, one thing that we need to consider here is that I don't think every single ZZZ fight in the game is better than this Fleur-de-Lis fight. Now, do I think that maybe this Miyabi one at the very start is really good? And honestly, I do think it is on the same level as the Fleur-de-Lis fight in terms of choreography and everything like that, and the way that they've actually designed it. But do I think it's, you know, miles better than this? No, I don't think so. I don't think that the Cartethia fight or the, Fleur-de-Lis fight was terrible at all in any sense. And I think that, you know, this fight was absolutely amazing. I really enjoyed it. And obviously it had quite a bit of impact whenever the actual story was going on, and I definitely felt that impact. So again, it definitely did its job. And you got to remember as well, as I said at the beginning of this video, they're working with two completely different models and kind of designs. I think it's kind of unfair at some points to compare the two, just due to the fact of, you know, how detailed Wuthering Waves is compared to, you know, Xenosaga Zero. And, you know, don't get me wrong, Xenosaga Zero does have some really nice fight scenes, which I've been saying throughout this video as well, and they do it in their own style. And I think at the end of the day, it just comes down to personal preference. And I feel like this tweet was like a little bit of something where it's just like, okay, you know, did we really have to write this and like rile up the community? Because again, they seem to be going very, very heavily after Wuthering Waves, you know, saying that ZZZ's fights are all better. You know, you could just say nothing at all and just keep your own opinion, because honestly, you know, I think they're about the same, you know, and I think they do have different aspects in them which make them better for different people. So yeah, this is pretty crazy overall. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think about the situation, because again, I feel like, you know, people are getting pretty angry over nothing. It is just, you know, a personal preference kind of thing, in the same sense that people have different personal preferences whenever it comes to anime, and different kind of personal preferences when it comes to movies, music, whatever, TV shows, literally anything, you know. Although, you know, they might all be considered good films or anime or whatever, you know, some people might not like them and some people might like them, which again, it's just how the world works. And I think honestly, you know, people getting upset over something as small as fight scenes is kind of dumb. And I feel like, you know, at the end of the day, you know, they're both really good, and hopefully, you know, people can kind of see that. Hopefully this actually spurs on Wuthering Waves and Xenosaga Zero to keep improving their animations as a whole, and keep improving these kind of cutscenes to kind of prove a point that they are the better one. Eventually, you know, it will just mean that both of them will get better over time, and then we get better animations for our fight scenes, you know, later on. So yeah, again, if you guys did enjoy this video, then don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And yeah, go over to GameStop, use my code Kaza, and I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.